This video is made for everyone who wondered where Eve Echoes have headed, what's within the game, or what's new since the beginning. It's also made for older players who thinks of coming back to the game. This video is also made to bring a smile on your faces. Or, if I really succeed, a laugh. So if you enjoy what I make for you, then it would mean so much if you like the video, and of course if you want more, subscribe. Now, what has changed, what is good, what is bad? Well, just stick around for a long Eve Echoes talk. And let's talk Eve. Now, as we all know, Eve Echoes made its grand debut in August 2020, bringing the expansive universe of New Eden into the palms of our hand. And in early days, the players were introduced to over 100 ships, from nimble frigates to colossal battleships. We had the Mar Galente, Caldari and the Minmatar empires. We had low-sec, we had nullsec, each with unique ships and lore. Well, lore is mostly gained through my YouTube channel, and not NetEase. So if you want to know more, then you're at the right place. Eve Echoes was supposed to give us the comprehensive market system, a player-driven economy where supply and demand dictated the prices, corporations allowing players to band together, claim territories, and engage in large-scale warfare. And that was basically what we had, except for the market and the lore stuff. And did you know that within the first month, over 1 million players ventured into New Eden? But like with all other mobile games, they almost all left. Man, if they stayed, I would have had 1 million subscribers. Almost. If you played Eve Echoes in the beginning, you perhaps had some issues within the game and therefore left. And it is understandable. Now, it's been 4 years of development and a lot have changed. And before you try this game again, this is a great video to watch. And also, if you are totally new to this game, you should watch this video as well. But not until you watch Eve Echoes, one video to rule them all that I made. I also have a video about Alpha to Omega. It's a kind of a short series where you can see how I made my alt from Alpha to Omega. So what I can start by saying is that Eve Echoes implemented a performance mode. This was pretty long ago, but this reduced lag and frame drops. And since then, I've not heard much about any black screens. Perhaps maybe in some big scale wars like big. But early in the game, it was quite normal for the servers to have this bad experience. And that's of course for every game that has large scale battles. But I am happy to say that Eve Echoes do not have these issues anymore, and if it happens, it is definitely not frequent. But in the beginning it was really laggy and at times unplayable. So before we go into more details, let me just tell you what's not accurate regards rumors about this game that I'm pretty sure that you have heard. So let me destroy those right away with a couple of sentences. If you start Eve Echoes today, it's not too late. That's the first one. The second one is the game is honestly not more pay to win than any other games. It's just like EVE Online or even World of Warcraft if you want to be picky on pay to win. Maybe even Path of Exile, because you can buy bag space and therefore you can sell more and therefore you can get more currency and therefore you can buy better gear. You get the idea. But I guess it's a bit more pay to win than Path of Exile. But I will explain more later in this video. So with that said, let me tell you what this game have today. NetEase did remove the tech level on all the weapons. So alphas can now have the blue items. Alphas do not need to use the faction gear. You can now use the blue gear, the C-type items. And this of course made the green gear totally obsolete. So the developers are, as we speak, working on either removing them or merging those with other items. We really don't know, but the idea is to not have too many useless items in the game. They also removed the tech level on armor plates and shield extenders. This is something that we will see be better and improved by time. They also working on removing the tech levels for every sub-capital ship, or at least that is their vision. And we do know how important their vision is, so it's probably gonna happen. They also lowered some tech levels for a few ships, opened up more styles to play early on. And this makes the time playing the game in early stages even more interesting. So we do see some moves in the right direction here. They also removed the tech level on armor plates and shield extenders. This is something that we will see be better and improved by time. They also working on removing the tech levels for every sub-capital ship, or at least that is their vision. and we do know how important their vision is, so it's probably gonna happen. They also lowered some tech levels for a few ships, opened up more styles to play early on, and this makes the time playing the game in early stages even more interesting. So we do see some moves in the right direction here. They also changed a lot of the ship bonuses over time, as well as the skills that improves them. Ships are generally better spread out today, and this makes more ships viable for different situations. Or the Cruiser 2s, for example, is now smaller than Cruiser 1s, so they are harder to be hit. They are also equipped with bonuses to less signature radius when you're using a microwarp drive, so they are generally both faster and harder to hit than their counterparts, making them of course far superior to the Cruiser 1, and of course a better ship for taking on larger targets. They also do more damage and use less capacitator. Now this is for a good reason. The general idea that EVE Echoes have is that the bonuses that the better versions of ship have needs the expert skill for full effect. Making a fully skilled pilot have a bit more, but they should be better against a rushed pilot who too soon jumps into the better version. Note to everyone, stay in your skill range when picking ships for the evening. And speaking of skills, we always get new skills and new ships in EVE Echoes, and to conquer one line of ships can only be done up to that specific ship skill. This means that even me, who have played this game since launch, do not have better skills than you if you have trained the same ship type. This is the same for all the sub-capital ships. Now the carriers and other bigger ships doesn't only need the tech level 10. They also need about the same amount of skills on top of that, in specialized skills, to fly those ships properly. So in a way, the skilling always expand when new ships arrive in this game, while all our older ships will stay the same. But people have too much skill points already. It's too hard to catch up. Well, unless you pay an ungodly amount of real money, you will not be able to fly all these ships perfectly. And that still does not even matter, since you only fly one ship at a time, and all the other excess skills that you have is, well, useless in that particular situation. And that is how EVE Echoes progress works. Now back to ships. Other ships like the bad Sunesis we had, the Gnosis, the Praxis, those have been buffed a lot, so they are a lot less crap. With the Praxis gaining one extra mid slot, and the Praxis 2 have significantly better DPS and shield management, but it's still not a good ship since you need to pay real money through Omega to even get them. If the Praxis would have been crazy good, then I would probably say that this game is really pay to win, but those ships are mediocre, and you're not even getting them if you're free to play. EVE Echoes now also have several battleships, both better version than the previous, but also we got the striker battleships for a middle ground of strength in damage and versatility. We got the navy battleships with more tank and generally a better all-around ships for both PvP and PvE. We have bomber battleships for specialized situations such as gate camps, station smashing, but also very good in PvP. We have faction battleships with improved special abilities such as neuting, disrupting, scrambling, and webbing power and range. And to add to that, we also have even better versions of those faction battleships, carrying a lot better fitting abilities, as well as the possibility to add a special mod on the ship that also improves various parts, making them extremely versatile. The newest ships are, for example, the Cobra, gaining more drone damage as well as one more mid slot than the Rattlesnake. That is pretty insane. We also have the Annihilator that's gaining one mid slot, which is even crazier because it's like a Vindicator with a Cyber X. We have the Marcio that also gets a mid slot and better cloaking abilities, which is pretty sick. And we got the Azazel getting the entangling beam range, and yeah, that's it really. We also recently got the Concorde ships with equally good, if not better abilities than the faction ships. Of course, a lot more expensive, but also quite special. We also have new bomber frigates, new destroyers and cruisers. But that is enough about the ships in this game. Throughout the years, EVE Echoes got quite a lot of different implants, and also optimizations to those implants. And honestly, I think they are way too strong, and unfortunately, that makes them a must-have. This makes this a priority if you are a new player. Make sure that this will be your main thing to focus on acquiring. Implants was introduced with the sleeper enemies 2 years back, and these you can fight in the so-called Dormant realms. This is a cooperation PvE challenge that gives you implants materials at the end, and if you're lucky, you can get an implant to drop. So when you have one, try to level it up to at least level 15, and then of course focus to get to 30. Implant level 45 is not within the range of any normal player, but 15 is a great start and 30 is, well, it's good enough. If you want more, you can see my video where you can beat Dormant Realm level 10 with a frigate, and also see my solo speedrun level 4. It's a very fun and addictive pursuit, but that can be hard for a newer player. Speaking of new players, many of the skills for the frigates, destroyers and the cruisers are now tech level 3. Sorta. And there's of course more to choose from in terms of flying than before. There is of course too many ships to talk about here, but the same as the battleships, we got the navy versions of the frigates here as well. So be sure to not neglect the power of the small ships. During the time, EVE Echoes have opened up more areas to fly around in. Kalevala and Cobalt Edge are for example new areas, and they do act a bit different. And as we who play the game know, you will not show your presence when you enter those systems. If you play EVE Online, it's like going into a wormhole. It's a place for experienced players, so the profit and the excitement is greatly increased. But so is the losses and the pain. Also, so I do not forget, if you used to listen to New Eden radio back in the day, then that is unfortunately no more. But we do have Rambo's radio podcast, Echoes of New Eden, to tune into. But also you can support my channel as well as Jubileos, Vonfals and all the other EVE Echoes creators. The more love we get, the more videos we make. That did not rhyme, but it's true. While we wait for the war declaration within the game to start, we finally now have the Relic Scramble. This is the new faction PvP event that we have. One thing to note here is that if you're signed up for a faction, you need to pay attention to your whereabouts. Because if you move a ship through those contested areas, you will lose it. Also, if you want to gain a good rank, you cannot leave the faction now and then. So if you decide to love the PvP life in nullsec, then stay in the faction to gain your rank. Or join and leave as you wish, to just have some fun for the evening. Another thing to note is that ship lost while participating in the Relic Scramble will have a discount of 75 insurance points. We also have the Verge of Silence event now and then. This is a great place to use your nicest chips without any losses. Just fly out there, farm anomalies or hang with everyone else, and just hope to not be deported back. It's a nice area. We also have the Ego Traverse. It's a dual others mode. Even though the Ego Traverse needs a lot of work to be fair and not just this boring snipe fest that we have, it is basically a one-on-one PvP arena that shrinks the longer the fight lasts. But of course, the way we fit the ships for sniping and mixing that with the implants, you do not survive long enough anyway. So build yourself a sniper, try to nuke the other one faster than he nukes you. It's like I always say, bite the snake before he bites you. If you're back to EVE or been away for 2 years, then the Cobalt Edge was the first opened area in Dronelands. It is occupied by a few people and a good place to mine and PvP, if you hang with those people. Otherwise you have to do it in the shadows like I do, or fly in groups and fight them all. Kalevala is also a great area for solo adventurers in any ship that you desire. Sometimes I do jump in with a cloaky ship and just hang, enjoying the notion that I'm totally hidden. Waste Seeker anomalies have been added, and it's a great addition to the game. This is harder content with good ISK and the possibility to find some great stuff valued in the billions. It's also a good place to PvP. Unfortunately, they are only active during events and not an ordinary occurrence. Did I mention the Lucent Moon and the Sciencey? This is the HiSec Carrier and the HiSec Facts. The Sciencey makes about 50 million ISK every tick if you fly alone and do purple encounters on the so-called HiSec Islands. It's a nice ship that casuals can have as a goal to acquire. But I'm telling you, it takes a long time to gain that ISK back. Now flying them in nullsec is a lot more expensive than a regular carrier, The IP on the Science Sea is extremely high, and honestly, if you spend 50 billion on a normal carrier, it's gonna be just as good. And of course cost a lot less when you lose it. Now for the capitals and making ISK in Eve Echoes, nullsec is where it's at. We have several capitals now to choose from. We got carriers, we got versatile assault carriers, and that is pretty much the pirate faction carriers. But we also have the super carriers that will farm the most ISK. This game also have the dreadnoughts, both the normal ones and the lancers, and also now the bodyguard dreads. The lancers are tougher dreadnoughts with the ability to use the doomsday weapons, and the bodyguard dreads are more suited to fight smaller ships or smaller gangs. Eve Echoes still do not have the Triglavian ships or the Edencom, but we are told that they will come in time. Titans will most likely arrive this year, probably very soon. Nullsec also have Ansible gates. This is player-owned gates, so the owners can move around faster in nullsec. Along this we also have different player-owned stations, and those are upgradable, and if you upgrade them to level 2 they cannot be destroyed anymore. So instead we use a tether system and we steal each other's stations. We take them over, pretty much. And if you plan on having stations, then be aware that some stations can only be placed in certain areas in nullsec, as well as some areas in nullsec can only boost special stations. We also have a bunch of add-ons to these stations. Some will make better mining belt spawns, some will make the system itself become a deeper nullsec, and we now have the ability to access moon mining with those. So we have some new ore added within the game. Chips are cool, but it's not all you need. We now have a ton of nanocores. We have almost one nanocore for any type of reason within the game, and several nanocores for every ship. We also have the ability to upgrade those nanocores to be run by an AI, bringing a soft AFK playstyle for those who don't really care about min-maxing within the game. But that's not the reason we have the nanocores. The nanocore give bonuses to the ships to focus them on specific jobs. And it also makes you able to change the colors of your ships in many different ways. So make your colors matter and make your ship unique. A year back we got gas harvesting in Eve Echoes, and it was great in the beginning with a lot of ISK earned, but after a while it went down. It's been steady now until recently when it actually went up a bit. Perhaps more usage will bring more gas harvesting to even higher values in the future. It would actually be nice if it was a good start for new players to harvest, until they get into the covetors. Eve Echoes are still waiting for the ice harvesting and the ice belts, but the Rockwall now have high-sec access. So if you want to farm common ores and jump belt like crazy, this is a really nice ship. Now leading up to the Titans, we of course have super carriers. We do not have the faction super carriers yet, but I'm sure they will arrive. Still, the game's income makes capitals not that hard to get anymore. Also with capitals comes a lot of fighters. So just like nanocores, we have fighters and drones for every purpose today. Now another big thing in the game is the insurance. And I must say that the insurance have improved in my opinion. Less used ships uses less IP to recover. More plex and ships is being removed from the market. It's still not great, but it's a big improvement. The effect of this we do see on the plex market. The plex is slowly falling down in price, and back in the day we topped at 12 million each, and now we are down to 6 or 7 million. I would assume this will shoot right back up in the future, but who knows? Maybe NetEase just let this be, and understand that this is manageable for alphas. Now if you are an alpha, you have a lot easier to gain Omega than we had back in the day. It is still a lot of work, but it's definitely not impossible anymore. Check my Alpha to Omega videos for tips if you are up for this feat. NetEase also added a translation within the game, so we can now understand what everyone is saying, unless you type any of the 50,000 words that they have banned. Market in Eve Echoes have changed, selling and buying have been improved, building for profit is possible now if you train that route. A lot more ships and modules are also in demand, but still the C-type items are abundant and very cheap. The way today to get the B-type is not profitable, and it's only used by expensive capitals or random min-max collectors. The devs know of this issue but can't seem to watch my videos for the best solution, so they do come up with their own solutions, which is bad ones that they don't even like. Now Jita, as you might guess, is still the only place really to purchase gear and ships. There is still no reason to sell in Amar. I do hope that they will work on this, so at least we use the 4 major trade hubs. One solution would be to give a huge discount on the buying and selling tax if you sell the regional loot within the correct region. Lasers in Amar, missiles in Jita, projectiles in Heck, and so on. But they also don't listen to that simple solution. This is also a solution for many other things. It would, for example, open up hauling possibilities with hauling commodities between those 4 hubs for profit, as well as regional specific items for profit. Why can't you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, Netties? Today there is more people playing the game than a year ago, but it's still room for at least 3 times more. And the way the game looks, it's going the right way. And this is mostly because Netties have started to do what we have been asking them to do in the beginning. The game is filled with pilots who love the game, and those who play are really into the game. Friends here can stay forever. It is that tight of a community. With spies and wars and gate camps and intrigue, there is no wonder this game is something special. The game is not EVE Online. If you want more in-depth on what's different, then check my EVE Online versus EVE Echoes video. But it has the EVE Online feeling, but it is its own thing. If you like EVE Online, then I've said this before, this game is a nice addition. EVE Echoes still have a small part of pay to win, just like EVE Online, and even if EVE Echoes have Nanocores that could have been seen as more pay to win than EVE Online, then EVE Online have the ability to buy skill injectors and have the ability to buy booster packs. Both games are in a sense pay to win, but the multiple factors that play a role in both games, and that the game is not built with a power core, makes this game more pay to lose. Pay to lose-esque when you blow up, and pay to lose a great time. So slowly developing your own personal character in the world of EVE is, in my opinion, the best way to experience EVE Echoes. And I see you guys. Oh, by the way, here is some bonus information for those who stuck around long enough. The future of EVE will bring us new anomalies, faction and officer spawns, comets, I cannot say anymore, more ships and factions, keep stars, the biggest stations, and soon better industry. If you wonder from where I get this info, then I can just say it's from the right source. And I can say this because I'm no official content creator for Netties. I have never signed any NDA, so I do what I want. And I see you guys again. Are you still here? I said, I see you guys again. Really, come on. Shoot. I'ma help you then.